Hello. When we're finding outliers, if we look at this example and you have your data here, your min, your max, your quartiles, to find out which ones could possibly be outliers in your data, the first thing you have to find is what's called the IQR, inner quartile range. In this first one, they want us to show the outliers above and below using 1.5 IQR. Well, what that means, first you find the IQR. And of course this one already is correct, but what you did was you subtract the Q3 minus Q1, which was 21.4 minus so we're subtracting these two, Q3 and Q1, and we should get 4.625 when you subtract them. So this is our inner quartile range. To find, the next one says the lower and upper cutoffs. So a value is an outlier if it's lower than or below. So it has to be lower than, when you're talking about lower, you take your lower quartile, so Q1 minus, and it wants us to use the 1.5 rule. It's 1.5 times the inner quartile range. So we take our Q1, 16.775 minus 1.5 times the IQR. And when we do that, we get 9.8375. So if we take 16.775 minus 1.5 times 4.6 1/4, we get that. So any value below this would be an outlier. So if there's any values in the data set that is below 9.8, which it doesn't look like it, so there's no lower outliers. To find the upper outliers, they need to be above the upper. And the upper one takes the higher quartile, Q3, and then it wants to get above that, so it adds the 1.5 times the IQR. Q3 was 21.4 plus 1.5 times 4.625. And if we calculate that, we get 28.3375. So any values above this number are outliers. And oh, here's a 31. That would be an outlier. Looks like just a 31. Yeah. So there's one outlier. Now this other rule, the 2 standard deviation rule, it's exactly what it means. You multiply by 2 standard deviations. But instead of using the quartiles, I think you use the mean. I think 19.3 minus 2 times 10. So for the 2 standard deviation rule, instead of using the inner quartile range, you use the standard deviation and the mean. So the lower would be mean minus 2 times the standard deviation. And our mean was, looking on this chart, 19.3. Minus 2 times, in our standard deviation, 3.74. So 19.3 minus 2 times 3.74 gives us 11.82. So if it's below 11.82, it's an outlier. And that's what they got here. For the higher one, you just add instead of subtract. So it was the exact same thing, only you add them. So if we bring this back up and change it to an addition, we get 26.78. So anything above 26.78 would be an outlier.